Our next speaker is someone who knows exactly what it takes to build a thriving DJ business. Not through luck, but through proven systems that have predictable generation of high-quality leads. He didn't just read about it in a book. Within 20 years of experience, he built, tested, and refined the system that will help DJs across the United States and Canada increase their leads already by 207%. That's a lot of percent. At an average of 94,000 plus per year. He's the CEO of Profitable DJ and has been featured on Fox, USA Today, NBC, CBS, and I think all other letters that have 3 combined together. With no sense approach as entertaining delivery, real actionable insight, he's here to show you how to stop relying on referrals and expensive lead sites and finally take control of your business growth. Folks, please put your hands together for a great man in this industry. Big round of applause for Mr. Ben Herman.
My friend Ben Herman and I have the same goal. We want to help as many DJs as we can.
Joining the Profitable DJ Partnership has not only transformed my business, but it is literally changing my life.
Ben was a pro. He's really straightforward, direct, professional, and funny.
Ben is truly a DJ's coach.
Ben has put together is absolutely fantastic.
A big shout out and a thank you to Ben Herman. And I gotta tell you guys, this course that I took really blew my mind.
The confidence that I have in my sales, my marketing, my fulfillment has never ever been this high. And it is all to do with Ben and Profitable DJ.
Increased my revenue from 2023 to 2024 by 353%.
One of the smartest people in the mobile DJ space, hands down.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? It's so great to be back here at MEX. So what I was just told behind the scenes is that unfortunately the screen is glitching a little bit, so hopefully that'll get fixed soon. Anyways, so who here is ready to learn about how to generate predictable leads for your DJ business? Raise your hand. Anybody ready for some leads? You guys cool with that? Okay, cool. Another question I have for you is, who would define themselves here? There's going to be probably less hands that go up, but who defines themselves as a survivor? Like you survived through life, you survived through last year. Anybody? A few of you? Cool. You guys are near and dear to me because that's how I've defined myself as. So I'm going to rewind all the way back till I was 18 years old. I was holding this stack of paper that was handed to me on my 18th birthday from my dad. And what the stack of paper resembled was an eviction notice. I was kicked out of my own dad's house. Now, him and I had kind of an strained relationship, and of course, I could blame him, he could blame me. Really, let's have bygones be bygones at that point. However, what I was set on the mission to do is figure out, how am I gonna survive now? I was literally ambushed into figuring out how I was gonna, as an 18-year-old, I was gonna live on my own, right? The year prior to that, at 17 years of age, is when I actually founded my entertainment company. So I started a DJ company. I DJed prior to that. I mean, I've been DJing since middle school, but I officially started and founded the business at 17 years old as a junior in high school. I kid you guys not, my senior year, I decided to set myself up in the back of every single classroom, and instead of studying the books and the lessons that our teachers were running us through, I was literally studying business. Luckily, I didn't get kicked out of school because they saw that I was a kid on a mission and not trying to be a class clown or a disruptance to the class, so they allowed me to continue to study. But here's the challenging part, is at 16 years of age, I worked at a grocery store. At 17, I started a DJ company. At 18, I got kicked out of my home. Luckily, I acquainted a mentor who lived in a mansion, got divorced, and literally was feeling lonely. He's like, he heard about my story, and he's like, hey, Ben, how about you come live with me? You'll rent out a bedroom of my home for $500 a month, but you get access to the entire property. So I was like, that's pretty awesome. Some of you that know, I actually lived in the trailer park. So like going from a trailer park to a mansion was a huge upgrade in lifestyle, which was really awesome. However, at one point at 18, 19 years old, I was reading this business book and it talked about burning the boats. Anybody hear that story about burning the ships, burning the boats, you know what that means? Essentially what it means is like, when, I don't know what country was in battle or whatever, but they were... Cortez, is that who it was? Gotcha. And the ships arrived on the sea, or on the ocean, right? Or sorry, the beach, I should say. And they burned the ships because they were planning to win the battle no matter what, or die, right? And so essentially what this story talks about is going all in. So I wanted to go all in business. So what I decided to do is I had a safe paycheck with this grocery store job. I decided to burn the ships and quit my grocery store job, premature of my business being able to actually sustain me financially. Now, the crazy part is I ran out of money real fast, okay? And for 6 months, I lived on bologna sandwiches for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I figured out a loaf of bread with 2 packs of meat and some mustard could actually get me past, get me through the week. And so I was forced in 6 months to figure out how to make this business actually take care of my lifestyle. And when you're pressed up against the wall like that, your mind starts thinking more creatively. So what ended up happening at 18 years old is I knocked on doors, I cold called venues, tried to talk to my friends and my family in town, because I was not born and raised, but I had lived there for quite a long time where a lot of people knew who I was at that point in time. And crickets. I asked for referrals. Nobody really referred me. When I talked to the venues, bars, nightclubs, wedding venues, they all said, "Kid, you lack experience. Come back when you get some more experience." Isn't that frustrating? Like, do you remember when you first got your job, maybe at 16 years of age, where employers were telling you, like, "Hey, you don't have anything on your resume, no previous work experience"? It's like, how are you supposed to ever get work experience if you never get that first shot? All right? So I was super frustrated. So what it came down to then is I was tired of waiting for opportunities to land in my lap, and I decided to take things into my own hands and create my own opportunity. So what I did is, instead of waiting for a gig to be handed to me, I decided to put on my own gig. I rented the venue, I put together flyers, I promoted on the radio, and tried to, at first, pack houses with high school dance parties, because I was freshly out of high school, college dance parties, so 18 and over, and then 21 and over dance parties. So I primarily started off in nightlife. And what happened during that season of my life was so profound. This was like, I'm 38 now, so 20 years ago, right? I figured out a way to essentially advertise yourself while getting paid. So most of us spend money to advertise ourselves, but I figured out a model where you could actually get paid to advertise yourself. So essentially advertise yourself for free and make money on the front end, and then walk away with a bunch of bookings on the back end. So that's where that came from. But you gotta understand, 2 decades have passed since then. So all I've been able to do over these last 2 decades is really perfect and grow the model. And that's what I'd like to share with you today. Is that cool? You guys excited about that? Yeah. Love it, cool. Awesome. First and foremost, what I wanna ask you guys is, who has a revenue goal figured out for 2025? Anybody? Okay. Yep. Do you mind blurting out your number? Are you willing to do that? How much? 200,000. Love it. Anybody else? 25K? 125. Love it. Okay. 250? 175? Awesome. So one thing that I like to do is I like to do a little bit of math. And trust me, guys, I didn't graduate high school. Remember, I set myself up in the back of every classroom to study business instead of actually doing the schoolwork. So I don't even have my high school diploma, okay? But what I do like is I like money math. I don't like algebra or geometry or trigonometry, but I do love money math. So let's do a little bit of money math, because this is where you'll start making your business growth more predictable. Instead of throwing darts with a blindfold on, you actually understand where you're going and how to execute and how to actually reach your goals, okay? So remember your number, right? 125, I heard 175, 200K, right? So what we need to do is we need to figure out, of the 200K, how many bookings do we need in order to hit that number, right? So the equation is pretty simple. The revenue goal divided by average ticket. Let's talk about average ticket. Average ticket is essentially, if you look into your CRM, anybody here have a CRM, by the way? CRM stands for Customer Relationship Manager. It's a software that keeps things intact. Who doesn't have a CRM, by the way? Okay, highly suggest after this conference, sign up for anything, okay? Any CRM, because it is the mothership software that'll run your entire business. You can automate it, but the most important piece to it is to be able to track your data, okay? What we like to say here at Profitable DJ is data over drama, meaning don't leave it up to your feelings of, I feel like I'm gonna hit my revenue goal, I feel like I'm gonna get X amount of bookings, I feel like I'm gonna grow my company, but it's more like look at the metrics and see predictably if you're gonna grow or not. That's how it works, okay? So average ticket, if you go into your CRMs, those of you that have it, you take your total revenue divided by the amount of bookings that you had last year in 2024, and that should give you your average ticket, okay? And then the final piece to it is, of course, the bookings that you need. So let's run through a scenario here, okay? I know nobody really talked about 7 figures here, but let's say you're trying to grow your company to $1 million, okay? So $1 million, and let's say if you did the math from last year or the previous 3 years, let's say your average ticket ends up being around $2,000. How many wedding DJs do we have in the building? A lot of you, right? So 2,000 is pretty average, right, for the most part. So $1 million divided by $2,000 equals, you guys know? Anybody? Bring your calculators out. It's 500. So in order to cross the 7-figure mark, if you wanted to shoot for that, you just need 500 bookings at $2,000 average ticket, okay? Now I get it, that's probably pretty lofty for you guys because I didn't even hear anybody like wanting to go for the $500,000 mark. So let's talk about a more realistic example. Let's talk about $100,000. So $100,000 divided by the same average ticket of $2,000 equals, take away a 0, 50 bookings. 50 bookings, okay? That's pretty realistic, especially knowing that in a year, not even an average year, in every year, there's 52 weeks in a year. So there's 52 weekends in every year. That means just 1 booking per week. That's all you need to hit $100,000, 6 figures. Pretty cool. Now that you know the booking number, keep that in mind. Now let's talk about the sales conversion rate, okay? What's sales conversion rate? It's essentially the leads that you attract to your business and how many of those leads turn into bookings. Let me say that again. Leads that you attract to your business and how many leads you then convert into bookings equals your sales conversion rate. Should be a percentage, by the way. So what's this equation look like? Well, it's bookings divided by the amount of leads equals your sales conversion rate. So again, if you go into your CRMs, you look at the total amount of bookings you had in 2024, you divide it by the total amount of leads that your business was able to track last year, and you should be able to figure out your average conversion rate. That's really important, guys, because again, what we're doing is we're reverse engineering so that way you can make growth for your business predictable, okay? So another example, remember we talked about the 50 bookings, divided by, let's say, 150 leads equals 33%. Be a 33% conversion rate. Now, if you might have less than that, so let's talk about that. Let's say you have a 25% conversion rate. Guess what that means? If you're getting less leads to cross over to become bookings, that means you need more leads in order to get the same number, right? The same 50 bookings. So what that looks like is, with 50 bookings, you would essentially need 200 leads. Because remember, 25% is a quarter. There's 4 quarters in a whole, right? So 50 times 4 equals 200 leads. I'm already seeing people like, oh my gosh, is this all this presentation is going to be about today? We're almost over with the math section, okay? But here's the crazy part. Pay attention to the screens. We just need to figure out that number right there. We need to figure out what amount of leads you need. And if everything stays the same, the average ticket, the sales conversion rate, you will predictably know how to grow your business to your dream number, your goal. Okay? Into the math section. Let's give it up for ourselves. So the next question is, okay, Ben, you told me about I need to get about 200 leads. Well, how the heck do I attract these leads to my business? And that's really important, by the way. I just said attract. I didn't say chase leads. I said attract leads. And that word distinction is actually really important because we don't want to be desperate. We don't want to have to hustle and grind and chase after leads. We want to sit back in our office chair and let leads automatically flow into our business. And that's more realistic than you think. And we're going to talk about that today, actually. All right? So there's 3 common myths when it comes to attracting leads to your business. Okay? A lot of you will be able to resonate with these. Let's talk about them. The first one is, I just need to become a better DJ, and if I become a better DJ, then there'll be more leads that can flow my way and more bookings. How many of you agree with that? Nobody? It's not a trick question. To be honest, there's a little bit of truth to that, right? If you become a better DJ, you increase your reputation, right? More people talk positively about you, you will get some referrals that come to your business. So becoming a better DJ does actually help you get more bookings. However, it's not predictable, right? It's not controllable.
And probably not the most effective way.
Love that, love that. So what it really comes down to then is not the best DJs win, the best marketers win, okay? Referrals alone will keep me busy. 9 out of 10 DJs that I speak with, and I ask them this question of, hey, what's your marketing strategy? 9 out of 10 times they tell me it's word of mouth referrals. How many of you would say primarily you focus on word of mouth referrals? That's how your business is fed, right? I would say a majority of you, which is still a good thing, because here's the thing. We love referrals. Like, I'm not talking trash about referrals. We love referrals. They're easier to close because they're already warmed up, right? Someone validated you already, right? They tend to spend a little more than a cold lead with you. In addition to that, if it's validated, hopefully they're a little easier to work with as well, right? So we love referrals. I'm not trying to discount referrals. However, the challenging part about referrals is that they're inconsistent, they're uncontrollable, they're unpredictable. And this presentation is all about how to scale predictably with leads, right? So what it says is no control and also inconsistent income. The third one, oh man, this one is a big one right here. Going viral on social media. We're in the information age where social media influencers rule the land, right? We see all these big DJs who are on social media with massive followings, and we think, man, we need to just do what they're doing. That's how we're going to get more leads. How many agree with that, by the way? Anybody? Nobody. I would have thought someone would have focused on social media. Okay, there's a little bit of maybes. Gotcha. So I love going viral on social media for the sake that if you're trying to run a national brand or international brand, that makes a whole lot of sense, right? You go viral, you get a bunch of people that follow your content, and especially if you're very intentional around the content that you create, you can actually attract a lot of leads that would potentially become customers. It's really challenging, though, for local businesses, because so what if you're in Las Vegas, Nevada, if you go viral and then you get a bunch of followers from all over the US? If you don't work any events outside of Las Vegas, those followers don't really matter to you, really, right? Besides, I guess, the popularity contest and the endorphin hit that you get from people loving you, right? But besides that, it doesn't actually turn into bookings, aka money or profit. Now, when it comes to going viral locally, there might be a little bit of awesomeness with that, but the challenge with that is also that you're going to attract a bunch of people that may never look into booking a DJ. Like, if you go viral for going viral sake on a local level, if a person's just following you, but they're never playing an event, they're not engaged and they're not getting married, what does that follower really mean to you then? Besides, again, maybe the social proof of looking awesome on social media, but it doesn't turn into bookings. So that's another reason why it's challenging to grow your business predictably through social media and going viral. And I shouldn't say through social media, just going viral on social media. So likes don't pay the bills. And trust me, I tried to tip my Uber driver the other day with a bunch of Instagram followers, and I'm permanently blocked from the app now. So learn from my lesson, okay? All right, so 3 questions for you. Have you ever been ghosted before? Anybody? All your hands should be up. All the ones that don't have their hand up, you're liars. Next up is, have you ever been told we found someone else? Anybody? Absolutely, of course. Competition is real, right? And the last one is, are any of you feeling like others, like your competitors, are doing better than you? Be real, be honest, love it. Did you know that 85% of leads research their DJ online before they're ever ready to book? Did you also know that 50 to 70% of leads require multiple touch points, multiple follow-ups in order to get to a booking decision? So the challenging part here is if you attract a bunch of leads to your business, if you don't actually follow up with them, you may be leaving a lot of bookings on the table. Or those bookings are going to your competitor who is following up with them. Okay? So the ugly truth is that most DJs don't actually have a real system of how to capture leads, how to nurture them, and how to convert them into high-paying clients. And that ends today. You guys ready for that? Love it. All right, so why should you listen to me, though? I'm just some random stranger on the stage. Why should you listen to me? One is that I have 25 years, actually over 25 years of experience as a DJ in the DJ industry. This right here is my team that's located in Northern California. And I've been able to get this business to run completely on its own, by itself. So I kid you not, I started off as a solo DJ, right? Hired staff, trained them, replaced myself, fired myself as a DJ, became the manager of DJs. Then over time, I trained and nurtured leaders to run my company to the point where I could fire myself as a manager, and over time, fire myself as a CEO. So much so that my family's right over here, big shout out to my family. We actually moved, so my company's actually located in Northern California. We moved 3 years ago to Henderson, Nevada, right next to Las Vegas. Like, my house is literally 20 minutes away from here. And I've not touched that business in the last 3 years, and yet it's still running. Completely on its own. Events are being performed, customers are taken care of, so on and so forth. And I'm not here to gloat and mention like, oh, look how awesome Ben is. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to act as an inspiration of what's possible. Because trust me, if a high school, I'm not really a dropout, but let's call it like a non-graduating high schooler can do it, you guys can absolutely do it, okay? Next up is what I was able to do is since I was able to fire myself as a CEO of my own company, I had all this time available. And those of you that know me, what I really care about more than profit or more than just making a bunch of money for myself is actually impacting people's lives in a positive way. And I feel like I've been put on this planet for a reason to impact as many people's lives as possible before I pass from this earth. And so that's what my mission is. Every day that I get up, I ask myself, how can I serve? How can I impact more people's lives in a positive way? Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not an attorney. So I don't know how to serve in that way. But I do know the DJ industry. I do know business really well. And that's where I choose to serve. Okay? So what I've done, essentially, is, anybody hear of franchising before? Franchising? Yep. Right? So we actually decided to license our business system from our company in Northern California across the country, including Canada. Okay? And what's been so profound is like, it's one thing to prove to yourself what you're capable of with your own company. It's another to be able to take that same wisdom and knowledge and the systems and see if it can work in other markets across the globe. And here's the thing, okay? I'm trying to nip in the butt that people were saying to themselves, yeah, that works in Ben's market, but it doesn't work in mine. My market is different. My business is different, and so forth. Well, we have proof here. Let me share it with you. First up, this is on average, which means, yes, there's some that are lower, but there's also a lot that do well above that as well, okay? On average, our licensees increase their leads by 207% on average, okay? They also increase their revenue on a yearly basis by $94,936.20 to be exact. And on average, they increased their profit margins by 64.29%. Now here, I get it. These are slides. These feel a little fake. But Greg, can you stand up real quick? He's one of our licensees out of Bozeman, Montana. Greg, how much did your business grow last year in 2024? 300 what? 354% in a single year from 2023 to 2024, which is insane. He over tripled, 3.5x his company. It's just a single year. So hopefully you take what I'm about to share with you, not because Ben's special, but these things are working across other DJ companies across the US and Canada, okay? So what I'm gonna share with you is the money magnet method. This is something that I figured out back when I was 18, and over the last 2 decades, we've been able to perfect and optimize and grow to this pretty incredible model, okay? So the money magnet method comprises of 3 different things. 1 is niching down, 2 is messaging, and 3 is authority. So let's talk about it. Niching. There's a lot of DJs, and some of you may be in the room right now, who will accept any gig. You're like, as long as it pays, I'm willing to do mitzvahs, quinceañeras, nightclubs, bars, casinos, weddings. I'll work the radio, I'll work festivals. Whatever pays, I will do whatever it takes. The challenging part about that is if you're just a jack of all trades and a master of none, your messaging, which is the second step, becomes very diluted. Because people don't really truly understand who you are. Because they're like, yeah, this DJ does this, but they also do this, they also do this and this. And then they come to think of, how can they be the best at all of these things? We all only have a certain level of capacity. Versus, if you decide to say, hey, I only work high-end weddings. That's the sole thing that our entertainment company does. Think about what the marketplace thinks about that. When you head to their social media and all it is just wedding posts. When you head to the website, all it is just photos, video, and messaging around DJ services for weddings. That will resonate way more with a prospect than, hey, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. Whatever you wanted me to do, please just pay me. Okay? And then lastly is the authority piece, which comes to social proof, right? All of us should be doing an awesome job. And by the way, this presentation is not going to solve. If you suck at taking care of your customers, work on it. Become a better DJ, become better at customer service. You should all be receiving on a regular basis 5-star reviews from your customers and positive video testimonials. Because no matter how great your marketing is, it will never outdo a terrible reputation. So none of this stuff will work if you don't have a good reputation. Okay? So authority comes down to 1, again, social proof, 5-star reviews, video testimonials. 2, it's about becoming the expert or the authority in your market. So maybe join some of the local wedding vendor or wedding pro organizations, right? Present similar to this, how I'm presenting right now, right? Make yourself and position yourself as an authority and an expert in your market. Okay? Join the Chamber of Commerce. Start volunteering. Start speaking. All that kind of stuff. Okay? Next up is the 3 secrets of the money magnet method. First secret is the power of paid ads versus organic reach. Let's talk about it, okay? The problems with organic reach is that, 1, it's not very controllable, okay? Like it says right here, likes don't pay the bills. Also, you don't have control, but you also don't own it. So let's talk about this. So who remembers MySpace here? MySpace? Remember how popular that platform was? It was almost like MySpace was just never going to go away, right? However, what happened? It lost popularity. So you may have spent all this time and money and effort into growing your social media following on the social media platform that actually ended up going extinct. Now, were you able to take your MySpace friends with you? Unfortunately not. Okay? And so many, because it's in their best interest, so many social media platforms, they fool us into thinking that the followers that have chosen to follow us, we own and we get to control. And guys, this is just the tip of the iceberg. It gets even worse, and I'll show you that in just a second, okay? So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you use and meet people where they're at on social media, because everybody's on social media, but you want to take that person off of that social media platform as quickly as possible to a list that you own 100% and they can control 100%, which is get phone numbers, get emails, get them off of the social media platform so that way you can control regardless of what happens. And guess where we're at right now? TikTok might get banned. So those of you who have spent so much time and effort into building a TikTok following, we may or may not have access to that in the future. I don't know. We'll see what happens, right? Next up is reach throttling. Anybody hear about reach throttling? One person over here? Okay. This is going to be pretty eye-opening to you. So the way that these social media platforms work on the organic side, okay? So let's talk about organic versus paid. Organic is really the way that the social media platform was created, right? So when you sign up for a social media account to set up your profile, that platform doesn't charge you a subscription fee, right? So the thing is though, Zuckerberg's and the TikToks, right? They have way bigger buildings than us, way more overhead than us. How are they keeping the lights on? They have to monetize somehow. And the way that they monetize is with paid advertising, right? So when you're scrolling on Instagram, you'll see every 4 posts, there's a sponsored post. That sponsored post means an advertiser paid them in order to put their marketing messaging in front of all of those people on their social media platform. Now, I don't know if you understand this, but you understand this is the same model, just rinsed and repeated over time. Like, think about newspapers. Newspapers were free. Ads is what paid for them. Magazines, same thing. Radio, free to listen to, but you listen to ads, right? TV, same thing. All it is just a modern version of the same model. That's all it is, okay? Now here's the crazy part. What happens is, and this is, I remember this like 4 years ago, right? TikTok went crazy because they're like, dude, when you post on here, you can get followers and likes and all that kind of stuff, like by the hundreds real fast. And you could be a nobody and go viral. And the reason why is because these social media platforms are really smart, guys, okay? I don't know if you remember Facebook. After the whole MySpace switch over to Facebook, same thing happened. Your reach was close to 100%, which means of the people that follow you, 100% would actually see your posts and your content, okay? And they do this intentionally because they're trying to get market share. And in order to get people to adopt the platform, they make it really easy to go viral because ultimately that's what we all care about. But then once they have our attention, once they have all the people using it on a daily basis, then they slowly start to monetize. And when they start monetizing, now they have to prioritize the people that pay them and pay the bills versus the people that just are sucking these resources for free. That's why reach throttling exists. Which means, even though you think you have 100% of your followers, maybe you have 1,000 followers, 5,000 followers, maybe just a few hundred followers, you would think that when you post something on your profile, that all of your followers, because they chose to follow you, would be able to see your posts. Let me show you the ugly truth right now. This right here is a graph of Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, some of the most popular platforms right now. What you'll see on the left side is the average reach. And let me show you. So when it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the left side, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%. Meaning that of 100% of your followers, less than 4% are seeing your posts on Instagram, less than 2.6% on Facebook, and less than 5% on TikTok. And by the way, these numbers are just going down more and more and more. I did something similar to our coaching clients a couple years ago. And these numbers, Instagram was like below 15% 4 years ago, like 3 to 4 years ago. Facebook was less than 5%. Now it's cut in half. So these are just going lower, 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 and lower. Okay? In the meantime, our clients are crushing it. So what you'll see right here, back here, is this is just paid ads campaign right here on Meta. So we're still using Facebook and Instagram, right? But we just decided to pay them. And because of that, Sam out of Toronto, Canada, owns Soiree Entertainment, got 52 leads in 30 days, $11.21 per lead. Crushing it. That's incredible. My own entertainment company got, if you see over there, the 15.01, that's ROAS, which stands for return on ad spend. Think about it as ROI. Now, if I were to ask you, if you were to give me $1 and I guarantee to give you $15 back in return, how many dollars would you give me? As many as you could, right? So it truly becomes a money magnet machine, a money printing machine. And it's completely legal, by the way. All you have to figure out is how to become an informed advertiser so that way you can get these numbers of every dollar you spend, you get 15x return. But shoot, let's say if you're a novice, what if you just get $2 in return? You're doubling your money every time that you advertise? It's not a bad gig, right? So this is why paid ads is superior over organic reach. Not discounting that you shouldn't post on social media. You should absolutely still post on social media because when you advertise, people will click on your profile to research you a little more. Okay? So you want to have content on your profiles as well. So I support organic social media posting, but really get behind paid ads. All right? And by the way, I'm not holding back, guys. Like, Greg and David, am I holding back here? Like, this is some of the best advice that we give some of our clients, and I'm sharing it with you guys today. Secret number 2 is how to create an effective ad campaign. So really 3 steps again. Comes down to targeting, ad copy and creative, and a clear call to action. So let's talk about it. The first one is targeting. Remember, you can't be a jack of all trades and a master of none. You need to be hyper specific of what niche you want to pursue. So if you want to pursue your wedding business, because that, honestly, I would say out of all gigs, weddings have the highest tickets, right? The highest profit margins. So you can actually work with that as well when it comes to affording your advertising, right? You can reinvest into advertising, reinvest in hiring a team, reinvest in equipment, and so forth, right? So once you get your targeting right, then you'll get your messaging more dialed in because you know who you're actually speaking to. Great advertising is messaging that resonates with the viewer or the person that's receiving, right? Like that's consuming the content to the point where they're like, man, it feels like they know me without actually knowing me. That's great advertising, okay? And then lastly, call to action, right? So you want to make sure you go after the right people. You show your ads only in front of the right people. You use the messaging only for the right people that resonates with them. And then you need to give them a clear call to action as to what next step to take with you. And it shouldn't be going in for the kill where you're trying to book them right there on the spot. Because who does that, right? If you saw my presentation last year, right, I literally had a ring box and I was like, it'd be like going up to a stranger, dropping on your knee and go, hey, will you marry me? After the first time meeting you. Too desperate, you're coming on too hot, right? Make sure to date them. Make sure that you actually inform them and nurture them to carry them over to a purchasing decision without feeling pushy or, sleazy. All right, next up is I wanted to share some examples of our actual ad campaigns. And these are some of our most high-performing ad campaigns, by the way. So again, I'm not holding anything back here. So what you see is at the top is the copy. Ad copy is really just the text that persuades people to take the next action, okay? The creative is in the center here, the photo, and it also has some copy on there as well. And at the bottom is the call to action where you see learn more on the bottom right corner, okay? Now, one thing you'll notice about this ad right here, does this have how great my DJ company is on it? Does it have photos of me DJing? Or how awesome our all-white equipment setups are? No, it doesn't. Because people care less about you and they care more about what you can do for them. Let me say that again. People care less about you and they care more about what you can do for them. Because inherently, most people are selfish. They just want to get what they want. That's what it comes down to. So as a smart marketer, what you want to do is you want to take advantage of that and you want to meet them where they're at. You want to give them what they want. So that way you get a real opportunity and a shot at actually closing the booking. So what you'll see is it's imagery of a couple going through sparklers, having the day of their life. That's what people care about. Another ad right here is this is what we consider a retargeting ad, okay? So you want to start off with cold, which means like people who don't know, like, or trust you. Once they get to know your company, you want to retarget them with another ad that shows, hey, you may not trust us, you now know us, but you don't trust us. Let me prove to you that I'm trustworthy. Okay? This right here is just straight up a video testimonial. Our video editing team just put some captions on it. But as you can see, just taken raw with a cell phone on the night of their wedding. At the very end, we just asked them, hey, how do we do? And they just went off on complimenting us. We then put it on social media. We put some ad dollars behind it. And as you can see, at the very top, the ad copy. In the middle, the creative, the video, and also the text. And at the very bottom right corner is the call to action. I don't know if you noticed this, but the last one right here, you'll see that the call to action is learn more. And on this ad right here, you'll see book now. Because remember, there's multiple stages to when a person gets to know you, just similar to dating. There's the first date, or the hi, nice to know you, hi, nice to meet you, what's your phone number, to the first date, to multiple dates down the line, right? So the first hi, nice to meet you just said, learn more about us, right? The, hey, now that you've seen us multiple times, want to book us? That's where we change the call to action, okay? And lastly, we also want to come out with a lead magnet, okay? Money magnet, lead magnet, right? A lead magnet attracts leads to you instead of you needing to chase leads, right? And what it really comes down to is, like you see right here, is something of value that a person will gladly exchange their phone number or their email address in exchange to get access to all this free value. As you see again, ad copy at the top. In the center, the creative, a nice design. On the bottom, a soft call to action, learn more. Okay? So let's talk about lead magnets. Anybody hear about lead magnets before? A few? Okay, cool. So this is going to be really insightful for all of you. So how to create an irresistible lead magnet. Really comes down to 3 steps again. So irresistible value, specific problem, and support the call to action. So irresistible value. It says in the text. You can't just come out with something for free or cheap that's just kind of like slapped together and they're like, dude, this isn't that cool, right? Because to earn someone's phone number and email address, you really have to work for it now on social media and really in the days of the internet, okay? So put something together that people would legitimately pay hundreds of dollars for. I kid you not, the lead magnet that you just saw, the suite of things that we give away, we could value, because I'm in the online education space, I could easily sell that lead magnet for $1,000 and people would gladly pay for it. And I'm choosing to give it away for free, absolutely for free. Because I just want to get the introduction of, hi, nice to meet you. That's all I'm trying to get, right? So the next is to solve a specific problem, okay? Remember, don't try to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. Try to only solve one very specific problem, and ideally a problem that supports the call to action. So ideally, what do we want as a call to action? Check availability, set up a phone consultation or a consultation, right? We want to have the opportunity to be able to jump on a phone or a Zoom call with them to try to close the business. That's the call to action. So what is the problem that you can solve right before they look for a DJ in the first place? That's the specific problem you want to solve. Because if you solve that problem, you're proving yourself up front that you know what you're talking about. You're proving yourself up front that your promise that you put out there, you delivered on, which essentially builds trust. So by the time that you look into your services, you already have trust, likability, and rapport built. Because nobody will ever purchase from you if they don't trust you. They're not going to give you their credit card number if they don't trust you, right? So that's how to put a lead magnet together. All right. So let's take a little break. And what I'd love to do is have you guys think of some creative ways and creative lead magnets that you could use in your business. Remember, it needs to solve a very specific problem and be something that is actually relevant to the person that you're trying to attract. If you're a wedding DJ, right, you're trying to attract engaged couples. What problem can you solve for engaged couples before they ever check availability or set up a consultation on your website? If you're a school DJ, Before they look for a prom DJ, a homecoming DJ, what problem can you solve before they look for a DJ for their schools? Same with corporate, same with anything else. Does anybody want to take a stab at it? We've got Ken right here with the microphone. I'm going to take a sip while you guys think about it.
You get Jody.
Hi, Ben.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. We're neighbors, by the way. I'm in Henderson, too.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
My lead magnet idea is, because I am based in Las Vegas, 7 tips for planning the ultimate Las Vegas event. Remember, I do corporate and weddings, so Las Vegas event.
Nice, love it. And is this like a website, a blog post? Like what kind of deliverable is it?
It's a pop-up on the website. Just pops up when you visit the website. So it's like a guide that pops up on the website.
So PDF download then, right? They put in their information and then they get the PDF. Gotcha. Cool. Great idea. Love it. Anybody else want to take a stab at it? Someone over here? Help with location finding. So like a venue guide? Love that. That's also a good idea, right? I would even think like if you're trying to attract engaged couples, maybe a wedding checklist, right? I mean, think about this. If people are getting engaged for the first time, they've never been married before, that means most likely, unless they've helped out a friend or family member, they don't actually have experience of what it takes to plan a wedding. So actually provide like a checklist of 9 months in advance, 6 months in advance, 4 months, 3 months, 2 months, all the way to the wedding day could be a really cool resource for them to gain access to that supports them in planning a wedding. And guess what? One of the checklist items on the checklist is check availability or set up a consultation with your DJ. And then you can literally have your website on that checklist item, right? Supports the call to action. Love it. Oh, there's another one back there? How to put together an ideal playlist?
For your wedding DJ.
Absolutely.
Tips how to put together to make it better for your DJ.
Absolutely.
Make it easier.
Yeah. It could either be a tool, right, like that lives on a website. It could be a downloadable worksheet that they work through, right? It could be something like that. So hopefully those things give you great ideas as to how to put a lead magnet together and what kind of ideas you could put out there. Now, I understand, guys, like, some of this stuff is so foreign to you where you're like, man, I'm feeling quite overwhelmed. I don't know how to actually put this together. So I'd love to ask you, can I over-deliver? Is that cool? Can I over-deliver? Now, we don't have enough time to go really deep on lead magnets, right? So what I'd like to do is extend this presentation next Monday virtually on a Zoom call. I'll jump on with you guys, absolutely for free, by the way, okay? Where we could spend some time together putting together your lead magnets. You guys interested in that? Yeah. Awesome. So if you scan this QR code, again, absolutely free, by the way. If you scan this QR code, what's going to happen is the only thing I ask in exchange is just your credit card information. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, what I'd love to do is gain feedback from you of how I'm doing on stage right now, okay? All you have to do is just be brutally honest. If you want to only give me a 5-star review or a 1-star review, you're still going to get access to this workshop absolutely for free, okay? So when you... Oh, no. All right, type in review.profitabledj.com. This is a lead magnet. Technically, it's really more about feedback for me. Is how am I doing, right? Like if you guys actually enjoyed this presentation. So when you go to review.profitabledj.com, you'll see a review form. Go ahead and give me a 1-star, 5-star, whatever you want. I don't care. My feelings will not be hurt. If anything, I'm going to take the 1 stars really serious and figure out a way to improve so I can gain your or earn your 5-star review in the future. Okay? And by the way, if you show up to this workshop on next Monday at 5 p.m. PST, that's 8 o'clock Eastern time, I'm actually going to hook you up also with our Pricing for Profits course. We are legitimately selling this currently for $200. So $199 is what we're selling it on our website for. You're going to get it absolutely for free just for showing up. So not only are you going to walk away with a lead magnet, but you're also going to get a free course on learning how to actually price your packages correctly to increase your profit margins. Okay? Are you guys good on this? Let me just step back here. I'm seeing some people trying to, sorry, I'm going to get a sip though. So again, if the QR code's not working, it's review.profitabledj.com. Simply just give me a 1 to 5 star review. Let me know how I'm doing, and you'll get access to this free workshop next Monday. Are we good to move on? Awesome. All right. So, can I over deliver again? Is that cool? There's no QR code on this one, actually. It's just a bonus tip. But what I'd like to ask you guys first is, who here has professionally designed and printed business cards? Anybody? Quite a few of you, okay. If I may ask, those that didn't raise their hand, why do you not have a business card? Oh, digital card. Gotcha. Cool. Not professionally designed. Okay, gotcha. Cool. Just wanted to find out and see why not as many hands went up as I expected. So the bonus secret for you guys today is stop handing out business cards. Ouch. Why am I saying that? What I want you to do right now is I want you to be brutally honest with yourselves. You don't need to prove anything to me or anybody in this audience. Just be brutally honest to yourself. When you get handed a business card from someone else, what do you actually do with that business card? Throw it away? What happens? Chuck it? Man, that's brutal. I was hoping some people would say like, I put it in a drawer somewhere, but I never really check it. But everybody's like, no, I just chuck it, I just throw it away. So guess what? There you go. Gotcha. Cool. So some people are saying they take it, they store their information on the phone, and then they get rid of it, right? I kid you not, this literally happened last week. I met up with someone, they handed me a business card, and I was like, hey, it's 2025. You have an iPhone? Cool, let's bump our iPhones together. I don't know if you know about that feature. It literally transfers the contact cards with one another. And he still handed me the business card, so I got home and I was like, man, it's a really pretty business card. Right above my garbage can, I was like, and threw it away. Now, that wasn't out of disrespect to that person. I actually intend to contact them and reach out to them. But I no longer need this piece of paper around my office or my house, right? So that's the reason why I got rid of it. So instead of handing out business cards, what you actually want to do is start handing out gift cards instead. Now think about this. I just asked you, when you're handed a business card, what happens? Ends up in the trash. But what happens when you're handed a gift card? Even if you don't want it. You save it and you value it, and you might actually re-gift it to someone else if you have no use for it. Right? In addition to that, when are gift cards usually received? Holidays, birthdays, right? Which has a positive association. Which means when you hand a gift card with actual value on it, one is they think you're super generous. Two, you're associating your brand with a positive experience. And three, you ensure that that card, if that person ends up not booking you, will re-gift it to someone else, aka refer your business to someone else, to a qualified lead. Pretty incredible. What does this look like? I'm gonna wait for this guy. He wants to take a photo of my slide. Take a photo of this next slide though. This right here is our gift card. And actually, let me, I brought one with me just to show you guys. So here's what you do. You have your designer, if you have a graphic designer. If not, you can design it yourself on Canva or whatever. You want to create a business card size design and just make it look like a gift card on the front. On the back, you can still have your business information, your phone number, your email address, all that good stuff. But on the front, make it look like a gift card. Then work with a printing company, similar to like Vistaprint or whatever else. And instead of choosing paper, choose plastic business cards instead. Then pay for the small add-on to round the corners, and boom, just like that, you have an identical looking gift card like any big box store. When you hand this to people, I kid you not, this happened a long time ago actually. I was speaking at another event, and my wife's classmate happened to be there, and we were being shuttled. It was on a university campus, so it was pretty far from the parking lot. We're being shuttled to the venue where we're supposed to speak at, and she recognized me. She's like, "Hey, are you Melissa's husband?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh yeah, I used to go to school with your wife. I'm actually engaged. I want to contact your company for my wedding." And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome. Well, hey, guess what? I'd love to gift you. Congratulations on being engaged. I'd love to give you a $100 gift card." The way that she accepted it is that she actually teared up. She's like, "Oh my gosh, that's so generous of you," right? It's a way better interaction versus receiving a business card. So take that one. Yep. Sorry, can you speak up a little bit? Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So on the back of this gift card, there's small text, right, that talks about all the legalities of you can't regift it, you can't stack it with discounts, all that kind of stuff to protect your business. Yeah. And again, in the worlds of ChatGPT, you can probably come up with text pretty quickly. Cool. Good question. How do you feel like I've done so far? Pretty good. Pretty good. Awesome. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. What I want to leave you with this, just in closing, because I've got 2 minutes left, is I don't know who this is for, but it's really important that I actually speak to you right now. You may have had a really tough year last year. I don't know what you're going through. If you lost someone that's near and dear to you, if you're dealing with a health crisis in your family, if your business is struggling, if that bank account is close to zero. I just want to let you know that you exist here for a reason. And I have absolutely no doubt about that. I feel that, would you say that it's no accident that you were born? Right? Even if your parents had you on accident, there's still a very reason why you exist today. Okay? And the unique part about that is that you were given a very specific purpose and a very specific assignment that only you can accomplish and complete. Nobody else can, which means there is no competition. And even if you think about competition, right, I don't have to lose for you to win. You don't have to lose for me to win. We both can win. And because you're here to fulfill your very specific assignment that only you can achieve, nobody else can complete this assignment except for you, with your given skill sets, with your personality, with your everything that you have about you. That means nobody else can achieve this. There's no competition. So all that chatter in your mind, all that self-doubt, I just want to verify for you that you are enough. So go out, build the businesses of your dreams, and conquer the world. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the winner.
Winner.
Ben Herman.